Hello, everyone. This is MMA Interesting Prospects podcast. Today, our guest is Ezra Elliott, who will fight on Fusion Fight League December 14th. Hello, Ezra. How are you?
Doing good, brother. How are you?
I'm good. And we are just a few days away from your third pro fight. So if you can tell me how your camp is going and what do you think about the opponent that you will be facing?
Yeah, camp went really good. This was one of my smoothest camps. My first real camp I got to get through uh fully healthy because my first pro fight and then my second fight was short notice, so I didn't have a camp for it. So this is my first time really getting through a good camp and feel in great shape, feel really good. And then my opponent, his name's Gage Morset. He's from Montana. He owns a school up there. He's more of a jiu-jitsu guy. I think like he's a black belt. Um, and it's his pro debut.
And he actually is a finisher on the amateur scene, and of course you also are kind of a finisher guy. So I think that there is a big chance that this fight will not will last for 15 minutes.
Yeah, I'd agree.
And it will be your third bout this year. And for next year, how many of fights would you like to have?
Um, I'm looking to be 5 or 6-0 and get on the contender series. I think five first round finishes, especially, that would be enough to get me on the contenders around next year. So hopefully by the end of next year, I'm in the UFC. If not, I'm still young. I mean, another year would be any problem, but I could definitely see myself being there within a year.
And this fight will be in the featherweight division. And is it like optimal weight class for you, or you prefer to go to the lightweight division in next few bouts?
Oh, no, I'm a bantamweight, so I've just been fighting up a little bit because the last one was short notice, so I did a 150 bout just because it was short notice. I'm not real big. I mean, I got a big frame, and I can fight 45 like no problem. But definitely I'm a 35er. I'm not overly big or anything. I walk around 155. After a hard practice, I'll be 152. So 45 is nothing for me to make, and 35 minutes a cut, but that's my weight.
So do you think that you will be in the UFC in the bantamweight division?
Yeah, the bantamweight.
So probably the toughest weight class, to be honest, because it's like super deep with a lot of talent. But of course you because you will be in the bantamweight division, you will have like many opportunities to prove yourself how good you are.
Yep, yep. Over at the MMA lab, we have um uh we got three guys um in the top 15, and then at Red Hawk with Sugar. That's four guys that I'm training with every week, week in, week out, that are in the top 15 in the whole world. So it's pretty impressive. The crew we got at 135 too. Just so many good amateurs coming up, good pros that haven't made the scene yet. Like um, some really good guys down here in Phoenix that I get a chance to train with, which is awesome.
So when you train with Sean O'Malley, how good is this to train with the guy on such a good level, high level?
Oh, I mean, it's awesome. I mean, for me, and I don't know how many guys coming up get an opportunity to train with the guy that is the world champion at their weight, and not only Sugar a world champion too, like he's a superstar in the sport, and he's really taken me under his wing and helped me um, with everything. Like there's there's a lot of stuff that like he's just giving me little advice and like in training, outside of training, lifestyle stuff. Just he's a good dude, and it's good to be around him.
And I think that not many people believe in him in 2017 when he won on a Contender Series, but in the end he faced like really few top level guys. He defeated them. Of course, he won against Aljo. So I think that he showed that you can be a great fighter even if not many people consider you like a great prospect. Of course, he Sean was talented, but people didn't like him, to be honest, at first.
Yeah, yeah. I think in this sport too, and just in anything, even in life, I feel like um you can't let people dictate, like people's opinions dictate how you feel about yourself. That's like that's a big thing I feel like I've taken since moving out here too, is that like even you could watch I remember when Sugar won the belt, you go on Instagram and in the comments people were still saying he's all hype, he's this and that. So no matter what, people always have something to say. So as long as the people around you got your back, then who cares what anyone says?
And of course, except like great skills, he is like the a little bit like the brand. He got like a great podcast, and I think that this is also a really important thing in MMA. Not to be just a great fighter, but also to be like brand, like the face, like market yourself correctly.
Yeah, I agree. Yep.
And for now, what is like the favorite part of the training for you?
Do you mean like what martial art?
Oh, yes. What part of the training like do you enjoy the most?
Um, what I like live grappling. Live grappling is probably my favorite thing to do. Um, uh, over at the MMA lab, I get to train with this kid. His name's Bryce Meredith. He's a he was a NCAA runner up 2 time, really good wrestler, Division 1 wrestler, and he's one of my best friends, and we train together all the time. And I feel like my wrestling's grown a lot because I come from a wrestling background, but just that kind of work with wrestling, like I feel like it's taken me to new levels.
And do you start in any kind of grappling competition?
I did the ADCC trials this past year. I lost at the trial, but the ADCC it was really cool to prep for. Uh, their little season of ADCC where they do the opens. I did the open out here in Phoenix, and I beat a really tough kid. His name's Dorian Oliveras. I think he's won the Combat Jiu-Jitsu Worlds. He won the East Coast trial, and he's got a lot of hype on him. He's a really good kid, and I think I was the only guy to beat him all last year before the ADCC. So that was a pretty good win, and uh, a lot of tough kids, different style, different rule set, but I feel like I can grapple with the best guys in the world. So that gives me a lot of confidence in MMA.
Yes, and when you train in two great gyms, it's obvious that of course that you are also on the really high level because you probably learn all the time with such a great sparring partners.
Yep, 100%.
And do you have a like name in the UFC? Because you said that you would like to be in the UFC next year. Do you have a like fighter in mind that you would like to face?
Nothing in mind on like early UFC fights. Just gonna climb up whoever they give me the best matchups I can get is what I'm taking so I can climb up. Uh, if I had a matchup I really like in the division, um, I think Marav is like the guy in the bantamweight division that I would like to fight. I think I can't wait for Sugar to get his run back with him and beat him. And I think the other guys at the lab, like Mario Batista, Marcus McGhee, Kyler Phillips, those guys could end up fighting him on the climbing the ranks too. And by the time I get in there, and Rav's a little older, he's a wrestler, shorts like he's obviously great. He's got that like short wrestler style, and I think that's a good style for me, just because how I like to fight and my build and my frame. I think that's like a good matchup of the top guys in the world. For even right now, too, that's like my best matchup is like against someone with more of that stature.
Yes, and you mentioned a few really like top 15 or even top 10 names, and like Marcus McGhee also. I think that he made such a big like progress from also the maybe like not super known bantamweight to right now fighter that everybody talks about.
Yeah, yeah. And what's crazy is like I moved here 3 years ago and I met Marcus when Marcus was, I think he was 2-0. I think he was right where I'm at right now. And just 3 years later, he's a star and he's doing great. Like I remember when I first started, like even just knowing he was, because I had never done any MMA or anything, but I had wrestled and I just started striking stuff. And I was like, man, this guy's like different level. This guy's really good. And I remember talking with some of the guys and like, oh yeah, Marcus, he's good as anyone. Like he just hasn't got a shot yet. And I remember like hearing like he hasn't got a shot yet. And then he did get his shot and seeing what he's done with this. So, super happy for him.
And of course in like I believe like something around 1 year he become the probably the biggest prospect in bantamweight division, so it means that it is possible to do something like this, that you will win like three bouts in like span of like 9 or 10 months, and you will be ranked fighter, and also the everybody will talk about you even as the like possibility of the becoming a contender in the division.
Yeah, yeah. I think things can move fast. Some people's careers, it could be like Charles Oliveira, where like he's like loses fights and he just keeps coming back and he wins and he gets a loss. Like careers can look like that, or they can skyrocket like Marcus's has, or like Diego Lopez, how he's like number 3 in the world now. I think he's been in the UFC for a year and a half. So different people's different paths, but however, whatever your journey is, that's how it's gonna pan out, and that's what God's plan is.
And do you have a like a favorite fighter to watch, but not from any like the like more of the personal perspective that you train with this fighter, but maybe you have a like style that you like to watch as the fan?
Yeah, so I like Islam. So Islam's southpaw. I'm a southpaw. So most of his matchups are open stance, but even when he versus other southpaws, um, the way he wrestles, I like the way he wrestles. Uh, but with his striking, like he kind of float back counter. He's got a really good counter left. He pressures well too, so he pressures. He actually is a really underrated striker, I think, and he can strike with all the guys in the division. It's just he's so much better at grappling. We've seen with Dustin. Dustin's one of the best boxers in the UFC. He stood with Dustin, but just that level change. And Dustin, I thought fought him phenomenal. I thought he fought really good, but um, just that threat of the level change, that when he gets on top of you, you might not ever get away. That's just a different threat in a fight.
So you think that he will beat Arman in January?
Arman's got a good style for him. I feel like if someone were to beat him, it's going to be someone with a style that can match his wrestling like that. There's not that many guys can, but I'll still probably take Islam on that matchup.
Yes, but this definitely will be a like a great fight because they fought each other like 5 years ago, and this will be a rematch. So it definitely will be a good one to see.
Yeah, yeah. Looking forward to that fight. That's gonna be a sick fight.
And do you feel like some stress before your fights? This one, or maybe your previous bouts, the stress or the like nerves before the bouts?
Yeah, I feel like everyone feels them a little different, maybe. I don't feel them too strong. I feel them worse when my friends are fighting, when I have no control over something. But um, I'm pretty good at surrendering to the moment. I mean, of course, I get drawn into thought, and I try to just get back to, you know, um, the training's done. I've done everything that I can to win this fight, and um, I just kind of leave it in the hands of God, and just I'm gonna go out there, do my best. But win or lose, it's just life's gonna be the same. The same people are gonna still be around me. I'll still be in the gym come Monday, still living the same lifestyle. So for me, it's not like I'm just trying to get to a certain place. I understand this. It's just a journey, and this is the path I'm on is martial arts. So I mean, I don't stress about it too much. It is what it is. Of course, I want to win, but yeah.
So on Monday, are you in the gym like training, or just watching your sparring partners?
On Monday we got like a pretty light session, but kind of at the lab, it's like a tradition after your fight, come in on Monday and kind of back to work. If you're banged up and stuff, of course, you just kind of come watch or whatever. But yeah, we like to be back in on Monday. I mean, not training hard necessarily, just kind of recovering from the camp and the fight, but just in there, just show that, there's still work to be done.
Yeah, but definitely that's kind of impressive because you can like rest for 2 weeks and like thinking about you winning the fight and you are on the mat. So it's definitely a quite impressive thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And outside of MMA, what do you like to do in your free time?
Yeah, so uh I like uh I like camping. I mean, uh during the summer here in Arizona, it gets pretty hot down in Phoenix, but then up north, it's about an hour and a half north. It's normally pretty good weather for like in the summer. And normally I go up there, go camping. A lot of times on weekends after sparring, head up there. Um, I like just hanging with my friends, riding BMX. I got a dog. I like playing with my dog. Just I just like normal stuff, I guess. The only thing I guess that's a little out there I like is like BMX. I like to go like shred skate parks and stuff when I can. If I'm not in camp, I would like to hit the skate park a couple times a week.
Okay, Ezra. So many thanks for the conversation. I hope that you will win this fight and you will get a UFC contract next year when you will be like 6 or 7-0.
Yeah, appreciate you, bro.